What tick rate will the servers be rubbing at? So in Titanfall 1, the servers rubbed at 10 snapshots a second, and in Titanfall 2, we've actually doubled that. So you're going to get 20 snapshots a second, which is going to be a big improvement on latency and accuracy of other players. And we've also fixed a whole number of other kind of hitbox problems and done other things to just make it more accurate and feel better. So there's a lot of questions about tick rate. In Valve games, the tick rate is really tied to the rate of getting player input to the server. So a higher tick rate actually makes the player experience better. In Titanfall 1, we fixed that, so the player input is totally disconnected from tick rate. So people running at 144 hertz, it doesn't matter if the server is running at 10 ticks, it would still be the same. So the tick rate really is about AI and not about player experience at all. So there's a question about why we're using both bare metal and clouds. So the reason is that when you're renting a bare metal server, you're paying a little bit extra because you don't know when you'll need it, and so you're paying a premium for the time you use it. But for a normal population chart of, this would be one data center where it goes up during prime and down, I can run a certain amount of that on bare metal because I know I'm going to need it. So I can run that much, and it'll actually save me money with the same quality of user experience. So there's a question about how many people per server. And so the answer is we're going to have a range of modes, and our design department and all of us work together to try to find what's fun for each mode, and that's what we set the player count at. So we're going to have modes that go from small all the way up to 8v8. When is our multiplayer technical test? Well, as people know, we're doing a technical test so we can test our servers and our matchmaking and all the new systems that we built. And the answer is we're finishing it up now, and so it shouldn't be too far away. We don't know a date yet, but I hope that everyone can help us. It'll be open, and so we could really use your help in playing the game, banging on the servers, and make sure it's all running well. Will dedicated servers be available at launch or afterwards? As some people know, 100% of our servers are dedicated servers running in data centers all over the world. We'll have even more data centers this time. And so I think you're asking about customizable player-run servers. We will support private match, and so you can set up matches with friends and change the rules and do whatever you want. We're not going to do player-rented servers, though. Someone asking about renting servers. So on Titanfall 1, we spent millions of dollars on dedicated servers for players to make sure that they had the best experience. And we're going to be doing the same thing on Titanfall 2. It costs us a lot of money to make sure that players have the absolute lowest latency, best experience. That's all incredibly important to us. So for improving hit reg in Titanfall 2, it's been a collection of things of changing the way the servers work, simplifying code, destroying systems and building new ones, along with doubling our snapshot rate. We actually doubled the client input rate as well. So you're going to get more accurate input. And so it's a collection of a bunch of work from a bunch of different engineers, and you'll see it when you play in the tech test. So it's a good question. Are the servers going to be able to handle a tech test? And that is one of the things we're trying to answer during tech test. We hope so. We're prepared for the chance that it doesn't, and we're going to be going crazy trying to fix any issues we find and making sure they'll be there for launch. But we're hopeful that the tech test will be a smooth experience, and we'll see how it goes. Have some sympathy for us. We're going to be working hard. How many Titans will there be? This isn't really a server question, but we are going to be doing a future one of these with Todd Alderman, who's the lead multiplayer designer. So save these kinds of questions, get them all ready for then. I hope we can go in some good detail on weapons and unlocks and progression stuff for you guys. That's upcoming at no particular date yet. So as for regions and data centers, this is Mike, aka the Zilch. You'll hear more from him soon. And so since we're using multiple clouds and bare metal, we're going to have an awful lot of data centers in Titanfall 2. So it's going to look much bigger list than Titanfall 1. And it gives us some interesting challenges on the matchmaking side. So get matchmaking questions ready for next week when Mike is going to be taking those. So the question is, even though we've doubled the snapshot rate and doubled the player input rate, is it going to require more bandwidth from players? And so no. We've also spent a bunch of time this game optimizing our netcode so that we can send the same metadata and still have tons of stuff going on in the game, but we're not actually going to use a whole lot more bandwidth. So it should work on the same exact connection as last time and feel much better. Are we using Microsoft Azure servers for Xbox, and what are we using for PS4? So we're using all of the cloud servers for all of the platforms. So that means we're going to use Azure and Google and Amazon as well as bare metal for all three platforms. So the question is about bare metal versus cloud. So what we found, both work really well. What we found is bare metal, it tends to be a little bit more efficient for each CPU type because you're not running VMs on top of it. So we can run a little bit more servers on a bare metal box than we can on a cloud server. But both work great. Both are very high performance. There's a little bit difference on bandwidth costs between the two, but we figured all that out. I've had so much fun today doing these. We'll do more in the future. These are always a great time. So please, thank you for sending all your questions, and please get more ready for matchmaking, which we're going to be doing next. Thanks, everybody.